Welcome to Lights in the Night with your host, Russell Johnson. Uncover the truth about alien contact and hear from insiders who reveal the evidence. Stay tuned.
Lights in the Night is brought to you by Super Patch, revolutionizing wellness through cutting-edge neurotech patches that help you feel, move, and live better. Whether you're seeking improved balance, energy, or overall well-being, Super Patch has a solution for you. For more information, call 56130-22588 or visit us online at ufo.superpatch.com. Take the first step to a better you with Super Patch.
Hey, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Remember that show, folks, that Jim Carrey did when he was the cable guy? He said, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Well, I'm the UFO guy. And if you go to ufo-guy.com, you go right to the website in terms of Project Disclosure. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for being with us to look at what's happening on face of the earth, on this planet. A lot of people call this a prison planet. You hear that often in terms of expanding and getting a lot of information. A lot of other people say that we came to this planet to help disclosure, which is 2024 and on. And people like Michael Sella, S-A-L-L-A, and Laura Eisenhower, the great donor of Dwight D. Eisenhower, are saying that by 1927, 28, maybe 30, that the aliens will show themselves to every capital city all over across the world, because they've been holding this back for a lot of years, and now they want to let us know that they are here, that they're visiting us, and that they possibly made us, and they're watching over us, waiting for us to evolve and become the people that a lot of people had, the mystics, if you will, have said that we could become. So if you have any questions, you can always call 888-994-4995, and we'll answer those questions.
You got to be Studio A.
Studio A.
Studio A. You know, Russ, it's good to have you back again.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Recently, there's been a lot of developments, a lot of and more sightings, and more information about sightings. I think that the problem in the past was that the sightings that occurred, there was no way of letting people know that they were happening.
Right.
Now you got cell phones on planes, and they're seeing different things going on. My question to you is, why has it become more obvious?
Because it's time for disclosure. It's time to tell what the government has been hiding from the masses of people for all these years, all across all the countries in the world. Not only the United States, but in Britain and Peru and Brazil, France, all across it. Now, speaking of France, a lot of generals and people, the head of the CIA and other secret agencies, have gotten together and put together a report called the Cometa Report, C-O-M-E-T-A. And they said that in 2017, that aliens were here visiting us. They knew about them, but we've been hiding that information, and they wanted us to know. So that's an official report by the French government, 7 years ago. They put that out. Now, if you want to follow up on that report, Leslie Kean, K-E-A-N, she wrote a book called UFOs, Generals, and all that, but you can get that. And she also did an expose in the New York Times in 2027. That's kind of just woke everybody up to say they are here. They've been hiding all the information. Now we want to let the people know in a very soft, quiet way that aliens are here, that they made us, that they're watching over us, et cetera, et cetera. And it's time for us to know the truth of the matter. Because in a book called Selected by Extraterrestrials by William Tompkins, he says everything that we know about history, this planet, science, government, religion, we have been lied to. And that's where we are for the last 100 years, that we've been lied to in many respects.
What do you think is the truth?
Well, the truth is the aliens are here. If I told you that the aliens are here, walking among us, that they have been here, that as a matter of fact, they came here and they started the whole thing 400,000 years ago in a book called the 12th planet, Zachariah Sitchin's, he spelled it all out. People need to read that. And then, of course, Van Daniken did Chariot of the Gods. Read that. So they're here. If you look at motion pictures or documentaries that are called Ancient Aliens, all of it's right there, but nobody's really paid any attention to it. They're here, they've been here, they live here, underground bases that connect all the pyramids across the world. They live under the ground, hollow earth they call it, and they've been here, and they sit watching over, and they watch us.
So they're not here as human, in the human form. They're here as aliens under the ground.
Yeah, but they can change. They can ship shape. They can become human, look like humans, but yet they can look like reptilians. So those are reptilians, and some others can do the same thing.
And how do you think they've shaped politics and religion?
Well, basically, some people have said if you go to Billy Carson and listen to his shows on politics and religion, or Dr. Greer, he'll tell you that Billy Carson particularly will say that all the religions of the world were created by man to keep us controlled, so we could behave ourselves or develop a sense of ethical and moral principles and treat each other with respect. So all the religions, Catholic, Protestant, AMA, LDS, all of them were created by man to help mold and control us in terms of our behavior.
So if they're controlling behavior, then my question to you is, what's happening today? I mean, you have Trump is going to be taking over the White House. It's a whole different appeal. There's a lot of things going on.
Oh, of course.
Are you telling me that we can have an alien change into human form
Absolutely.
and run this country?
Absolutely.
I'm not alluding that Trump is an alien.
No,
I'm just saying,
but
can that happen?
But he's going to come out pretty soon in the next month or two after he takes office and tell you that he's met with aliens and that he was here to help with this disclosure, to tell you the truth about what's been happening. Now, other presidents could have. Now, if we go back to 2019, President Trump, he put together the Space Force. Why? Now, other presidents could have done it before him. Barack Obama, you go to Ronald Reagan, you go to Carter. Carter had promised in 1977 that he had seen spaceships and that when I get in office, I'm going to tell you more about it. But they said, no, you cannot tell any of those people, they're not ready. There are a couple reports that will address itself to being quiet about this. One was the Robinson Report produced by the CIA. It's called the Robinson Report, and that's in 1953. People can go look at that. They said, if the aliens are here, do not tell those people that they are here because they will panic. They're not ready for this. That's the Robinson Report. There's another report that goes back to 1961 by the Brookings Institute that was given to Congress, the implication of spaceful activities, if you look at that, 1961. And that says the same thing. They said, if we find that aliens are here, or they among us, or they created us, or they come into this planet, do not tell human beings because they can't handle the truth. A case in point is the 1938 radio show that was done in New York. You remember that one by Orson Welles?
Yes.
War of the Worlds, 1938. What happened? What happened when
Panic.
Panic in the street. They said the people will panic even today because they are programmed to believe somehow that we're the only entities in the vastness of the billions and trillions of stars and planets in the universe, that we're in charge of this whole thing, that we know everything, and there's no such thing as anybody else in the universe. We got to believe that because we were taught that. That was bad programming. That was a big lie.
So a lot of what's going on today is the change of the guard. They don't want things to continue in a downward spiral.
Absolutely.
And there are people even in this country who don't want it to continue the downward spiral.
Absolutely.
But then my question at the end of the day is, if you're going to change things, why is it that, like you talked about Space Command,
right?
But there are new threats that have come in here because we, as a country, have set up these threats. You know, what was happening with NATO in Europe is the reason why Putin decided to do what he had to do, because he was promised that NATO would not expand, and it did expand, and he was lied to. So my question is, who do you believe is telling the truth, Russ? There's so many things going on right now. So many things, and you want to believe in truth. The problem is that they are making all sorts of reports to try to hide the truth. So you scratch your head and you says, well, obviously this report says one thing, and it goes against the truth, and it still spirals downwards. Are we looking to show that the truth is not what we've been led to believe for 270 years?
Or 400 years, or 1,000 years,
Whatever
or 2,000 years. We've been lied to all this time. Now look, you got to do your research on this, because how many planets out there, you think? How many?
Many. There's over 4,000 that the telescope that was put up by NASA, over 4, that they think has life. Over 4,000.
Maybe more.
Maybe more.
Okay, fine. So as many planets and universe and galaxies out there that we don't know about, right? So hundreds of thousands, millions other species are out there watching us, waiting for us to evolve and become conscious, if you will, to awaken, if you will, in terms of our growth and development. So there's so many ideas. Look, there's so many ideas, and I got about 50 books at home on this, but that if you were to delve into this, you have to take a postdoctorate degree at the Sorbonne or Harvard or Yale and become an astrophysicist, like Neil deGrasse Tyson and the rest of them. Look, it's a lot of information coming out, and you can't give it to the people all at once. You can't eat the elephant in one meal.
Right, you can't take an elephant with one bite.
No, so you got to do it slow and easy, and the powers that be said, don't give them to them. They can't handle the truth all at once. Soft and easy as we go. Like Roosevelt says, Theodore Roosevelt, he says, walk softly, carry a big stick.
Correct.
And share it's a lot of information.
So let me ask, the purpose of your show, because I've worked with you 11 years.
Yeah, right.
And this time, it's the right time, because there's all of this evidence that's coming out. So tell me about the purpose that we have for this show moving forward.
I call this UFO 101.
Okay.
Basic stuff. I'm not going to get into all the changing everybody's religious thought, change about the constructs of what you think in your mind, because we all got pictures in our mind based on how we were taught in schools. We've been programmed, right? So I can't change everybody's mind, but I can assist the president, Donald Trump, and others, people, Stephen Greer, who's been doing this for many years, or Billy Carson, or Laura Eisenhower, or Lyndon Newton Howell, or people in Gaia, David Wilcock, David Icke, all these people know what I'm talking about. So I can assist them in getting the message out in a soft, calm way without frightening anybody.
And what would that message be, Russ?
Well, to become aware that you might not have been told the truth, right? That you might have been lied to at some point in our development, being here a species on Earth. And that I encourage you to do your homework, your research, and find out what your truth may be as you go through all the material, listen to all the people who are coming forward, to all the whistleblowers, like Louis Alexander. Right. He wrote a book called, it started with I and whatever, not intense, but whatever it is. But he was a whistleblower a couple weeks ago in front of the congressional hearing. Right. Listen to Lou Alexander. Go back. The other congressional hearing was back in last July, and that was July 13th, right? And that was David Grush. Go listen to what he has to say. These people are coming forward to tell you in a quiet, calm way that we've been lied to, that the aliens are here, they possibly made us, and here we are. Now, some people are saying that the Anunnaki came here 400,000 years ago. You might have heard that, right?
Yes.
And came and changed the planet. That's true. And it's in all the Sumerian civilization. There's all the documents that I talk about, the chariots of the god, and and also Sitchins, Jacobus Sitchins. He's written all this up. He's done research on this, and other people will tell you this. So you got to start doing your homework so you can become knowledgeable about what's really going on this planet.
Even NASA had no answers for the whistleblower that was in Congress.
But
they did not know, because NASA is responsible for space exploration as the cover. Not that they're the only ones. They're the cover. They're the ones that we know. Those
pretend.
4 letters is
they
what we
pretend.
know. Exactly,
Yeah.
because they're the ones that have to carry whatever the government, because they're the government's one that pay them,
right.
To say.
Yeah,
they didn't have an answer.
Well, they don't want to give you the answer.
They can't.
Well, yeah, because they not even read in.
Well, that's another problem.
No, NASA was set up, what, in 1952?
Yeah.
Something about it there, NASA was established. And von Braun and all those guys who came from Germany, right? Remember Operation Paperclip?
Yeah.
Where they brought thousands of Germans here, scientists, in 1947 to take over the industries. They are still in control of Pfizer and all the rest of the industries.
Right.
Believe it or not. We can go there. But so...
That's the clearinghouse.
Right.
NASA's the clearinghouse. They're the ones, they go through them because the public trusts them. You know, Neil Armstrong and all that whole thing.
Well, they wanted you to trust them.
Well, the government sets it up because you got to have somebody to believe, right?
So you think this is like a whole media hype of NASA?
I'm not going to say
NASA
media
is a
hype.
hype.
I think NASA's the fall guy.
The fall guy, yeah. They're the front person.
They're the front person.
They're the front person. They're the pretend.
Until that space thing exploded in the sky, then the game changed.
Yeah, the game.
Because we were going up and down, up and down. So you trust somebody who does this until that thing exploded.
Right.
Then all of a sudden now the game has changed because this ain't checkers no more. That thing exploded in front of 1 billion people. Mm-hmm. So something did not go right. So now all eyes are on NASA. They had no answer in Congress. They didn't have an explanation. They were the first ones that said it. I can't explain what this is. And it was verified that a military object, one of ours, went after something that was in the sky.
Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't take a balloon, a Chinese balloon, out of the sky for safety reasons. Mm-hmm. Okay, I think a kid is in a coma because they knocked down one of those things in Boston and it fell on his head or something. Yeah. So you can't touch these things that are up in the sky. But the question is, and again, I guess this is what the show is going to reveal. We want people to send us video, come in and talk to you, tell us their story so we can pile up all of this evidence. Like I found out Netflix put out that documentary in South America. I want to fly down there and see it myself. It's there if you go down there. To see for myself what is there, what is going on, because obviously we have been lied to.
There's no question about it. I mean, if you want to understand a little bit more of that without, doing a deep dive, there's a book called Selected by Extraterrestrials by William Tompkins. Now, he's gone now. He's 94 years old. He just left. But he helped to design these spaceships that we have now going from planet to planet.
Right.
Been to Mars, Jupiter.
Hey, we don't know about that whole escapade of going planet to planet.
I know.
We have drones that go out there.
No, we got spaceships with...
But nobody knows about it.
Right, because that's controlled by the Secret Space Force, SSP, that Truman put together in 1947 when they found out about Roswell. He put a group together called Majestic 12, and then he put together NSA, right? He put those two together in 1947. You can do the homework on that. But and they have been in control of all this information, and that's why they have built a space crew. They have the last count I had is that they have at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base or somewhere like that, at least 123 spaceships that have crashed and that they've back engineered and built their own spaceship.
And where is all this material stored, Russell?
Well, some people say Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Some people say some of it's in Sedona, whatever. But if you go to listen to Gaia, David Wilcock, David Good, Emerald Smith, they would, go to Elizabeth April, who's she's not only a psychic and intuitive. She does astral projection to the Galactic Command and talks to them and comes back and gives us information. But she does remote viewing and telepathy. And go to her website. Listen to what she's saying. She's been out there for at least 20 years talking about this. She's only 28 years old. But she found out when she was 3 years old that she could communicate with spirits and communicate with telepathy and get out of body and go visit them. And that's what she does. So go listen to what she has to say.
And there are well-renowned people who,
Oh, yes.
In the past who are able to tell you this is what they
Right.
see and this is what's going to happen,
Absolutely.
or it's something that happened to you. They can tell you. I mean, there's got to be a reason why certain human beings can do that.
Well, if the people who want to do that have to do their homework. You know, you can't be the ascended master and watch Jerry Springer show, right? You got to go beyond that and develop yourself and develop your abilities. Now, speaking of development, if I got any time on this, when you talk of Elizabeth April and some of the people who are like Dolores Cannon, George Green, all these people before, when they say, got time? I can talk?
Yeah, keep on.
So what she says that what she's viewed, and she talks to the spirits, she talks to aliens who incarnate just to come back and help us, that we have 24 different alien species DNA in our bodies, that we have the capacity to be one of the greatest entities in all the vastness of the billions or thousands of planets and the millions of entities out there. But we have to go ahead and develop ourselves, and they're waiting for us to develop, to go from the third level to the fourth to the fifth.
But we need to know how and why we have to develop. In other words, bad stuff in, bad stuff out. So we need the guidance to be able to develop to that next level, which is the part that I think that they are more afraid of than anything else. Because can you imagine if you're able to use telepathy instead of speaking all over the world?
Right.
The world leaders would be in a lot of trouble because you're going to know what he's thinking.
Well, there's a science that was developed by the government, this government, U.S. government, and it was in the 1960s and the 1970s at an Army Air Force base, at an Army base in Maryland. And if you could go to people like Puharich, you go to people like Hal Puthoff and all these, Ingo Swann, they developed that science. You get books by them and listen to what they say. They developed that science that they could do remote viewing, and they know what you're doing.
So that could happen today?
Absolutely, but you got to work on it.
Well, you got to know about it before you can work on it.
Well, I just told you.
No, I understand that. This is what the show is so important.
Absolutely. I want to give you
educate people.
You got to be educated about the information that's already on the table. And the people that, like Dolores Cannon, who was here and did great work and traveled all over the world helping people. You got it, like George Green and like Colonel Wendell Stevens. All of these people have this information and they want you to have it. But if you just ignore it and say, I'd rather watch the 30-second rerun of Gilligan's Island all the time, or Mork and Mindy, if you go back that far, then you're going to be stuck there. Or think that Jerry Springer is a real deal on this show. No, that's BS information. So, but we got to rise above that and begin to study, do our homework, and begin to concentrate and improve ourselves.
Now, you started the UFO Network website.
Yeah.
Is that the name of it, UFO Network?
It's a UFO Broadcasting Network Incorporated.
Okay.
It's a 501c3.
And all of that is about UFOs and about the science that they bring.
Yeah.
Because there's some technology that comes, we use it on space shuttle intelligence, space intelligence, a lot of stuff from products for cars and things like that nature. Medicine.
Well, listen, it is said that the aliens, because they have hundreds of thousands of years, millions of years ahead of us in terms of development. So we don't even know, can communicate with them effectively because we're not there yet. And that's why they said we like rats in a cage or in the petri dish. We're in a cul-de-sac, but they're studying us. We have to develop, we have to improve, and we have to go beyond. See, most people, and they'll tell you at the universities, at Harvard or Yale or Princeton or Sorbonne in Paris, that The average human being only uses 5 to 10% of his or her ability.
That's what they say.
What happens to the 90% that you're not using?
It's in comatoseness. It doesn't.
But they dumb you down, and they keep you dumbed down because the president or the pimp or the pope want you to be beholden to them.
Exactly. You want to follow the leader, and you don't want to be challenged. No, I get it. I get that, and I understand also that if we were able to use more of our brain, and things were a whole lot easier to
because
use.
the difference between Elon Musk and me or you, I mean, not you.
Besides money?
No, you can get the money, because money is imagination and creativity.
Correct.
Expanding your ability to think and develop and create, because you are the creative human beings, right? God gave you that talent to be able to be one of the creators on this world rather than an automaton, rather than a pawn on a chessboard. You can do better than that. And so we have to learn to do better and improve and take our time, energy, talent, and improve ourselves and work on ourselves and make things happen.
What do you think's going to change as more disclosure comes forward?
Oh, Jesus, everything will change. Everything. Because if I tell you the religion was all, it's a farce, and nobody wants to hear that, but because we already, I'm sacrosanct in terms of what I say that. But Billy Carson says that. I'm not saying that, but people who study that, if we believe that there's not the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, we believe that there's aliens that created us. Oh, come on, who gonna believe that? Who will say that's true? So that will change automatically, and you'll
We've had thousands and thousands of years of religion.
Yep.
Installed in human DNA.
You program.
It's not going to go away in 30 days.
No.
It's just not going to happen. And if you believe that there's something that's not holy, you believe in God, you don't believe in God, then you're going sacrilegious. All of a sudden, bad luck follows you around.
You become an anathemon.
That's another word.
You become evil, despicable, diabolical.
That's right. Then you're the evil one.
You're the evil one. So I don't want to be the evil one. That's why I don't want to give them the message. I didn't come here to give the message. I'm just reporting on what others have done research on and say, now even your president, Donald Trump, he's going to come out in another couple of months and tell you about these aliens that he's met with. And you go from there. You take it with a grain of salt. But half of the world, half of the United States voted for him, so you can listen to what he has to say. He started the Space Force when other presidents could have but didn't. He put it together in 2019. Barack Obama,
let me ask you.
Go ahead.
Reagan had Star Wars.
Right.
The Russians made Reagan put it away.
Well, yeah, but
because he was way ahead of his time.
The CIA made him put it away.
Well, because the Russians threatened that if he didn't put it away, it was just going to be like what happened in Cuba. They felt threatened with Star Wars was going to change the game.
Okay, well, that's part of it.
You know Star Wars?
You got the people who did. It was too soon for him to bring it out.
Okay.
That's right.
I think we ran out of time, Russ.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's good. I love
this. Is fantastic.
This is going to be the first of many. You're educating, but and they're telling us we have to go. But you'll be back again next week.
Okay.
We can take from there and start from there. You can write it into, give them the website.
Oh, Project Disclosure. Oh, you want to do?
For your website, so people go write in questions, because I'm going to have a list of questions for you.
If you go to projectdisclosure.com, you get there. Or if you go to Lights in the Night, you get there.
Perfect.
Right?
Yes,
Okay.
and we're going to have some questions for people to ask us.
And a simple way to do it, you baseball, if you go to base211.com, you get there.
Perfect.
Oh, easy enough.
That's easy.
Russell, thank you so much for all this information. Wow. Changes everything, doesn't it?
It does. The perspective, everything, the edge, and the method of teaching is what I like about Russ.
Good teacher.
Right.
Thanks, Russ.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
See you next week.
Okay.
All right.
Lights in the Night is brought to you by Super Patch, revolutionizing wellness through cutting-edge neurotech patches that help you feel, move, and live better. Whether you're seeking improved balance, energy, or overall well-being, Super Patch has a solution for you. For more information, call 561-302-2588 or visit us online at ufo.superpatch.com. Take the first step to a better you with Super Patch. Thank you for joining us on Lights in the Night. Keep your eyes on the skies and stay curious. Until next